Hello and welcome to this latest edition of Desert Island Movies. And today we have a very special guest I'm very excited about, which is Ray Shell, who is a TV and stage actor, author, director, producer. Is there anything you don't do, Mr. Shell?
I can't dance.
Well, there you go. Well, you can roller skate though, because for those who don't know, Ray was in the original stage production of Starlight Express as Rusty, and then later on became one of the other key characters in The Shape of Popper. Starlight Express, you must confess, are you real? So I've been a long-time fan of Ray. Ever since Starlight Express. So I'm more than delighted to have you on my island. So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. And let's get straight in there, shall we? So you're being stranded on a desert island. So you've got to take 3 movies with you. We'll go one at a time. So people know the rules by now, so I don't need to run through those again. So do you want to give us your first film and tell us why you would take that to the desert island?
Well, the first one that I would take is Judas and the Black Messiah. Now, I switched the rules just a little bit because I didn't want to take anything with me that I had already seen. I figured if I'm going to be on a desert island, I want to have something that, that I had never seen before. I haven't seen this film, but I've heard so much about it. Daniel Kaluuya is like a really, really cool actor. I've been trying to get my director to hire him for a film that we're making. And so I want to see it. And I also, the young man, another guy that was in Get Out with him is in it as well. And it's about a part of history that I I lived through. But you never know when you're living through history, how big that history, how important that history is going to get. So I really, really want to see it. It seems like there's a whole new, well, shouldn't be new, there's a whole diversification of Black people in film right now. It's like we have to shoot up people and march and everything like this, and before we get anywhere. But but I'm thankful for it. So yeah, that's why I would like to take Judas and the Black Messiah in.
A revolutionary! A revolutionary!
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's recently just been made available over here. You can rent it online because obviously cinemas are still stuck during the pandemic. So, I mean, it's one of those films that's going to do crazy good at the Oscars and all the awards season, no doubts. I'm actually yet to see it yet, so I can't actually talk too much about it. It looks like a great movie. The reviews are always good. So, so it's interesting that you would take a film that you've not seen before, because that's quite a risk if you're going to be stranded for a long time, and it turns out that you don't like a film. So I'm impressed. That's a great choice.
Well, I could use some time kicking it around and destroying it and cussing it at the same time. But I figured, I mean, if it had to be another film, I would take the entire series of The Godfather, because I love The Godfather. I could sit there and watch that for hours.
One, 2, 3. Because you're only allowed one out of the series.
Oh, just one.
Otherwise people come and go. I'll take all the Harry Potters, so we're not allowed to say it's one.
Okay, then I take Godfather 2, because that's like 2 films in one.
Don Corleone, I wish you would have let me know you were coming. I could have prepared something for you.
Yeah, cool. So, so there's your first choice then, Judas and the Black Messiah, which is an excellent choice by all accounts. So let's talk about you. Have you just written the book Carolina Red, or it's just been published, or where are we with that?
Well, Carolina Red was published in December, but I've been working on this book since 2013. It started out as a reaction to my mom's death. And it's like, this is one of the first times I can actually say that word. I usually say my mom's transition, and that's the proper word, because energy can never die. And I remember I was doing the bodyguard, and I had to go back to North Carolina, where I am now, to the nursing home where she was. And there was these 2 white women, sisters, who were seeing their mother. They were there with their mother every single day. And their mother had Alzheimer's disease. So I would look in her eyes, and I could tell that, wherever she was having a good time. She wasn't with us, but she was having a good time. So I just started thinking, where does the mind go when it's not with us? So the book started off as like a meditation about Alzheimer's disease. But after my mom passed, that was the most traumatic thing that had ever happened to me. I couldn't imagine before that time what it would be like not to have my mother around. So when that happened, the book switched over and became about that. And it started off with the passages about the Alzheimer's. And I wrote it in such a way that you couldn't fathom it because it was so random. So my agent at the time said, Ray, I understand what you're doing, but the only way an audience is going to understand is if you have to build the entire world that this woman was in. So when she mentions things, the audience can at least see the signposts of the references because they would have seen what she was talking about and they would understand. So it meant that I had to create this whole world for this character, which I did. And that's what Carolina Red became. In one sentence, if God wrote a history of the United States, what would it say about us? And that's what Carolina Red is about.
That's amazing. So that's out now, is it?
It's out now. It's on it's a Amazon #2 bestseller for Black and African historical fiction. There's white people in it, but that's what they give us these, these things.
Yeah, these brackets,
so, yeah, these brackets. And I sold the film rights to a company called Sugar Films. They're a BAFTA award-winning UK company. In fact, I don't know if people might have seen on ITV a few years ago, Little Boy Blue, which was about white gangs in Liverpool. An amazing company. So I just found out yesterday that Sky Studios and Sugar Films are about to start the marketing, the pitches to the markets and Netflix. So I got everything crossed, and I'm praying because
yeah, no, that'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah. I'm much looking forward to that. So what we'll do is we'll add all down below here in the box below, all the links so people can get hold of these. So get hold of your book and the other things that we're going to talk about shortly. So come on, we need your second film now that you're going to be.
That would be Nomadland.
And I can be certain in my heart, I'll see you again.
I'd heard I haven't seen this one either, but I heard so much about the lady, McDormand, I think, is that how you say her name?
McDormand, yeah.
Yeah, I'd heard so much about her performance. In fact, I am going to see that film, in a couple of days. But I've just heard so much about it. And I mean, I know that she's up for the Oscar, but my lady, Andra Day, is also up for the Oscar. And Andrew won the Golden Globes, and I was in that movie with her. I played her in the United States versus Billie Holiday.
You think I would stop singing that song? You grandkids will be singing Strange Fruit.
I play her, me in this hat. I played her junkie drummer in Billie Holiday's band, and it was an amazing experience working with Andra Day and Lee Daniels and the company Montreal for about four months. And I had to go back. I used to drum in high school, but I had to this time mime to the soundtrack. So they had to make sure I was using the right brushes at the right time, hitting the right beat. So it was really, really educational. That's one thing I love about being in the theater, because you have to learn how to do these things just to do them like you know them. So that's the only reason why I don't want Francis to win, because I want Andrew to win,
But however, you're taking Nomadland with you.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, which actually probably will be quite good, because being it's about nomadic existence.
Yes.
On the island, it might even give you a few clues, but except you can't have but that's a minor issue.
Yes.
So that is a fantastic choice.
You are one of those lucky people that can travel anywhere.
Yes, ma'am, I know.
And they sometimes call you nomads.
Next week, so before we get on to the final film, you've also got an album musical, Starboy.
Yeah.
So how's that, and how's that come about, and where is it at? And
it's like my career has been I'd say full of happy accidents, and I was asked in 2009 to appear on the What's on Stage Awards, and James Corden was the host and of this event, and like they asked me, would you sing something? And I said, well, yeah, as long as I could sing one of my songs. I didn't want to sing Starlight Express again. So I said, no disrespect to it, but I was trying at that time I was working on some of my own projects, and I wanted to at least sing a song that I had written. So I got together and I got some friends of mine, and we did this one song. And when we did it, it stopped the show. It's just, and Ollie Stones, one of the producers, a producer, came up and said to me, "Well, where's the show?" I said, "Well, I ain't wrote it yet. I just wrote that one song." I figured, if they didn't like the song, what's the point of writing the musical? So, music, and it was, so that was the starting point. I wrote it, and it's taken me, that happened in 2000, and I think that happened 2010, I think it was. And it's taken all this time to write the script. And in 2017, Lloyd Webber and Stephen Schwartz said, I'd always, I looked at it this way. I was working with these amazing people. If you're not going to take advantage of their knowledge, then you're stupid. So I asked them, how did they get their Godspell started? And how did they get Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat started? And they said, Ray, we found schools. He said, colleges and universities have tons and tons of money that sometimes they don't do anything with. And if you go to them, they might help you put your show on, which is what happened. There's this little college here in Wilson, North Carolina called Barton College. And the man that was the head of the drama department, Adam Twist, I did something for him. And he said, well, we're looking for something for our new projects night. Do you got something? I said, yes. Gave him the script. He loved it. They paid for me to go in the studio to produce this album that's on Spotify now. And he's now moved over to, he's artistic director of a theater in Goldsboro, North Carolina called the Paramount Theater. We just did 2 weeks ago, the concert version of Starboy.
I've been praying so long, patiently praying. Oh, I've been waiting so long, earnestly waiting. Oh,
I say to everybody, whoever you're working with, whether you got a day job, if there's something that you want to know and a person that you're working with has been there and done that, ask them how they did it. Because there's no point in reinventing the wheel. And, because of what Lloyd Webber and Stephen Schwartz told me, and I figured, shoot, they should know, I was able to get my musical happening in the same way. And Starboy is a 50s musical about a traveling gospel singing family. If the Jackson 5 were gospel singers, I would be Joe Jackson. And that's what it is. The trouble between me and my Starboy son, who I want to be a gospel singer, he wants to be a pop star.
Brilliant. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So hopefully from that, it's going to develop on into bigger things, we're hoping.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, go on then, let's have your third choice for the desert.
This third choice I'm bringing for comic. It's a film.
Really?
I brought one that I was in, and the one that I'm in is a film called The Apple.
The Apple is the temptation.
It's infamous as probably one of the worst films ever made. And it's also Nigel Lithgow, Nasty Nick from, he choreographed it, and a bunch of my friends was in it. And it's the craziest, I don't even want to tell you, it's the craziest movie you'll ever see. Vladek Shabel and what's that? What's the brother's name? Josh Ackland, Femi Taylor, Finola Hughes.
Yeah.
A wonderful, wonderful cast. Had a good time in Berlin. It was great.
I gotta talk to you.
But the film, it's becoming a cult status like the Rocky Horror Show.
Yeah. We were talking about this before the show. It's got an incredible cast. Incredible cast. I mean, we've got Finola Hughes in there, who is in one of my favorite trash movies of all time, which is Staying Alive. It's got Miriam Margolyes, who's an absolute legend. Joss Ackland. Catherine Mary Stewart again.
Yes.
And of course you, but not wearing roller skates.
Yes, with lots and lots of makeup, tons of makeup. And great, man, I wish I'd take them costumes home. I had some wicked clothes, wicked.
So if that will keep you entertained with it, is there a particular scene that's all in it that everybody should be watching?
All the dance numbers. Those dance numbers which I'm not in because I don't dance. In fact, the only number that I did have, they cut because I'm not a dancer. In fact, Peter Newton, who was in the original company of Five Guys named Mo, should have had that part. He would have danced it, But I mean, they told me to go home 4 times and I refused to. So because I figured, look, you gotta, you gotta let me hear, you gotta hear me sing, let me sing. That's how I got the part, because I got up and the song was called Slip and Slide. I was supposed to be playing this snake. So I just crawled around him and ended up in his lap, got the part.
There you go. Well, that is how you do it, isn't it? Yeah. So everybody should check out The Apple. It's a 1980s movie. It's listed as a science fiction musical comedy film. I've never heard of that before.
Yes, have some nice strong medicinals before you take it. Really, it's really good.
The key giveaway on it is it was written and directed by Menahem Golan of Golan Globus fame from.
Yes.
And I have a second series that I record called Get to the Cheddar, which is all about the old action movies from the 80s and the pet. Mr. Golan is behind most of those films that we talk about. So so this may be another one to check out for everybody. I believe it's just been re-released. I'm sure I've seen some stuff about it being re-released recently. So again, we'll put links in. I'll be cutting a clip or two in just to remind you of how bizarre that.
How bizarre, yes, that's the right word for it.
Were. But hey, it's got you in it. You're on a desert island, at least you can go, that's me.
That's me.
The Apple.
Yeah, that's you. So also now, before we go, we've got the soundtrack to talk about, which we'll get to in a second. But we need to talk about a focal part in your life after the wide hits of Starlight. You wrote a book which was called Iced, or novel, sorry.
Yeah.
And that also changed things, did it not, for you?
It did. I mean, like, it's like I think the big thing in my life, I think everybody's life, you have something that you're meant to learn in this life that we travel through. And my mother always used to say that I had no patience. So my life has been one of learning how to be patient. And Arlene Phillips called me again and said, Ray, we're doing the music of Andrew Lloyd Webber on tour of the United States, and we'd like for you to join the company. And I really didn't want to. I had just bought this flat, my first flat in London, and I didn't want to leave my babies for a whole year. I had never done that before. And so I wasn't that thrilled about it. And I remember me and my sister, when we got to New York, we went to, like you go to your old neighborhood to see who's still there. And there was this guy, there was a guy inside the neighborhood, the smartest guy in the neighborhood. One of your mother says, why can't you be like him? And I got there and I found out that this guy had turned into a crack addict. And at this time, this must have been about 1991, didn't know what crack was because I was here in this country and crack hadn't really gotten to the UK. Yeah. And went upstairs and found out that that's what had happened to this guy. I didn't know about crack, and they didn't have anything in the library about it. They had it about the sociological problems about it, but nothing about how a person turns into a crack addict. So the addicts were all over America, and we were in a different city every week. So I interviewed them. And all Iced is a those character studies that a director would have you do on your character. So I said to myself, well, if this character had to write a diary, what would the diary be about? And that's what Iced is. And I was able to sell I got a whole bunch of money. I didn't have to work for 3 years. My God, I said, why didn't I think about doing this earlier?
Yeah.
My first novel got tons of cash and sold the film rights. But there's always if that was the yin, the yang side is the film rights were sold to Lee Daniels, Empire, Billie Holiday, and everything. Man, they ain't made the movie yet. In fact, I talked to him on the phone yesterday and said, look, I'm still alive, but my grandchildren, I have grandchildren now. Come on, man, when you make this movie? So it changed. Yeah, so he's got the rights. It's going to be a movie. In fact, they're making offers to a star now. The screenplay was written by a guy called Minnow Mays, who wrote the Color Purple screenplay. So it's going to be done. I just hope he does it while I can still see it. You know what I mean? I got glasses on now. Yeah. So I am very thankful for everything that's happened. All I need now is the billions and billions and billions of dollars that needs to come with all these things, and that's on its way. But it's been a journey. It really, really has. Like you said, like I said before, you never know you're making history while you're making it. You really, really don't. And I've been blessed, and I'm thankful. I'm really, really, really thankful for everything that's happened, and I'm thankful for the new stuff that's going on as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we've, you know, I cannot go with that, or we cannot get to the end before talking about, I mean, we've got to talk about Starlight. There's no way I could get through this whole thing without talking about it. Otherwise, various people who know me very well will tell me off.
At the end of the tunnel, there's
Do you still get people coming up to you today asking you about Starlight? Apart from
Man, every single day there's something on Facebook or somebody, like somebody made a rusty doll. I know, like I said, I never knew that Starlight would turn into what it's turned into. I wasn't going to go to the audition because when I was teaching at Pineapple, teaching acting for singers, actors for singers and dancers who couldn't act, and you know, they came to me. So I walked outside my studio, and there was this big poster that said "Wanted." Very young people who can roller skate for a new Andrew Lloyd Webber show. And the last Andrew Lloyd Webber show I had auditioned for was Cats. And they had dance group, I can't dance. They had dance groups AAA to GGG. I was in dance group FGG. That's how bad I was. So when I saw this, I'm going like, for fuck's sake, Andrew, can't you write something that somebody could just walk around and sing? Now I can freaking wear roller skates. So I wasn't going to go. I really, really wasn't going to go. And one of my students said to me, he went. I told the class about it, said, look, y'all young, y'all should go and audition for this show. And Richard Welford came up to me and said, Mr. Shell, you're always telling us about we should do this, and why don't you go? So I went home and talked to my wife, Sharita, and said, look, you know, should I do this? She said, well, look, you got some skates, go on and see what happens. So I took these skates that I had used for an EMI promotion, went down there, didn't know how to stop. So I just went and sort of gave the music to the piano player and rolled around the back of the chairs. So I didn't want them to know I couldn't stop. So Trevor says, ooh, theater in the round. So I gave him the idea of all the, you know, so, you know, had 4 auditions. And at the end of the 4th audition, Trevor Nunn and Lloyd Webber came up and put their arms around me. I thought they were going to tell me no nicely. And they gave me the lead. And it really, really changed my life. I mean, right after that, because people hear about things in the business. You don't even know that they know. Marsha Hunt called me, and next thing I knew, she had arranged for me to go on tour with the Police, the Synchronicity tour. And that's what, and Lloyd Webber says, do you really want to go on tour in this pop group? I said, yeah. So, yeah. So I spent, my summer job was touring, while waiting for Starlight to start rehearsals, was touring around the world with the Police. You know, Roxanne. I mean, it was amazing. So I got to know firsthand what it was like to be in an internationally #1 band. I was with them when they knocked Michael Jackson off the top of the charts with Thriller. So it was a real education. You know, it's like, it's that I think there's a song in Zorba, is life is what you do while you're waiting to die. And I've had all these, I feel like everything that I've done in the past was a rehearsal for everything that I'm doing now, you know? And I intend to live to about 340, so no more meat. I bought veggie burgers last night.
Oh, it's come to that, is it? Yeah.
It was good. No, mate, you know, I feel like you got to take care of your body. It's like I've had my second COVID vaccine, because it's like the mark of the friggin' beast, because they won't let you work or travel or anything unless you have this effect. So I'm praying, Lord Jesus, you know, I love you, and I know, but the thing is, I got to see my grandchildren. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's you got to do what you have to do. And so I took the vaccine and everything. So, and I didn't have any reactions on it or anything like that. So I'm like now using everything that I had learned before with Starlight for everything that's happening now. Yeah, and I'm ready.
Absolutely. So yeah, and it feels like you're stuck in the tunnel at the moment. You'll see the light at the end of the tunnel like very soon. Like, shoehorn that in there. I'm quite proud of myself.
Yes.
Yeah. So, excellent. So yeah, so while we're talking about music, we better talk about the soundtrack that you're going to take with you for something to listen to on the beach when you're not watching movies.
Well, I figure I'll take Starboy with me.
Get on board. Get on board. Get on board. Yeah. Get on board. It's time to get on board.
We're still working on it.
Available on Spotify now.
Yeah, it's on Spotify right now. It's doing really, really well. It's my 50s rock and roll musical, working with a young man called, neither one of us are young anymore, but I'm Chris Van Cleve. I met Chris. Chris is an American performer. He was in the London company of Les Mis. That's how we met, because we both were on tour. The next job I did after Starlight was play Judas in Ken Wright's production of Jesus Christ Superstar. So my buddy Chris Van Cleve was he was Pilate, and I was Judas. So me, Jesus, and Judas, we roomed together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Three of us. And
that sounds like the start of the joke.
yeah, and Chris is an amazing songwriter, incredible songwriter. So when I was getting this together, I said, well, who do I know that can? Because I like to collaborate with people because it makes it easier. I would write the things, and between the two of us, we got this thing concocted. In fact, I'm working with another Chris on my my other Carolina Red screenplay, a guy called Chris White. So I found that collaborations are healthy, and it just makes it easier, because you don't want to go through these wonderful journeys by yourself. At least I don't. It's good to have somebody you can just, hey, this is happening. Hey, that's happening. Yeah. It's like a creative marriage. So that's what Starboy is. It's if the Jackson 5 were a gospel singing family, I would be the Joe Jackson of the family, and kick my boys into becoming global superstars.
Megastars, yeah, Starboys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll put all the links for all of this in the bottom here, underneath here. Cool. All that's really left for me to say is thank you so much, Ray.
Thank you, man.
We had a great chat for everybody before this, which you will never see the light of day. It will be edited out, but it was brilliant, and you've made my week completely. So again, thank you very much, Ray. And everybody, click the links. Go and listen to Starboy, because you get 0.0001 of a penny every time someone listens.
Yes. It has to sell millions of streams, zillions of streams just to get $1,200 a month.
Yeah.
That's show business.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully we'll see you in roller skates sometime soon.
No. No, baby.
Back in the UK, we are going to have to say hello when we're allowed to go out and say hello to people.
Definitely.
So we look forward to that. Anyway, again, thank you very much, Ray. This has been Desert Island Movies. Please subscribe below and follow all of Ray's Twitter accounts and social accounts, Facebook, everything like that. And we will see you all very soon. Bye now.
Bye-bye.